We're here with Val, and we're here with Isabelle over there walking in front of us. And these two beautiful human beings have very interesting perspectives to share. And I want you guys to maybe see the way these humans are seeing. And yeah, here, we're gonna take a nice little stroll through this lake. And so let's begin with your full name, Val. What's your full name?
The acting one or the real one?
Both. Both.
No, just the real one. I'm Valentino Vettori. That's I think how mommy called me.
Valentino Vettori.
Yes.
And Isabelle, what's your full name?
Isabelle Sutherland.
And Val, what are you doing here on Earth? What are your footsteps doing?
I mean, if the interview goes like this and she's screaming over a bug, you know, like, yeah, Isabelle, take the bug with you. You just put it back.
Come on, we have to keep walking.
Yes, yes.
So what are you doing here on Earth?
I am, I'm very, very interested in climate change, man.
Why are you interested in climate change?
I don't know, I think it's, you know, like I was thinking I have two kids. And I was thinking when my father was telling me, oh, I'm a good dad and I should give you a good education. And then I thought about it, I was like, oh, I'm a good dad. I gotta give them at least a planet to live. Sounds weird, but that's the new thought. So I figure that maybe I gotta do something that care for their future in this way, you know?
Yeah. So I want to share with the viewers what you're doing with Arcadia. Can you tell them more about what Arcadia is about and what you're currently working on for it?
Yeah. So first of all, a fun story. Arcadia in Greeks means in harmony with nature, right? It's actually a word that stands up there with utopia.
Okay.
But utopia is unreachable, but Arcadia is reachable. So the words came when I started a company by looking back to the, you know, to the old civilization and see what was a word or what was something that was kind of like achievable to men, right? This is where we started with that name. And then I started when I visited an event, and I was all surrounded by these incredible people. They were all going to see the conferences, and each of the conferences had content that I didn't care that much. Like Elon Musk was talking about he's going to Mars, which is fun.
At that conference?
Yeah, at the conference. And then the room was packed, completely packed. And then you had also like...
Isabelle's leaving us, by the way.
Okay, bye Isabelle.
Bye, Isabelle.
She's such a creature of nature.
Yeah,
you know, she pick up bugs and she also gonna collect bugs on her body. By the end we're done with this, but that's amazing. So during the conference, eventually I met Paul Hawkins.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know it, but he's the guy who wrote the project Drawdown, which was like a 200 solutions on how to reverse climate change, and it was completely scientifically backed.
Yeah.
And
which is super rare, right?
I know, it's like, it's almost kind of like the, as of stand also today, probably the only plan, the only kind of like comprehensive, thank you Isabelle, comprehensive plan of reverse climate change. And actually not reverse climate change, but draw down the emission of CO2,
right,
which eventually result in a solution for climate change, right? And the room was empty. Like, what? Everybody's listening to Elon Musk rocket.
Yes.
Almost kind of like ironic. It's
Because
like
of the hype behind him.
yeah, but if you think about it, he's leaving us here behind.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the guy that by itself will. Well, I don't think it's gonna go somewhere fun. But point is, and I met with Paul, and I was like thinking, and we were talking. I said like, look, I love him, man, but what do you think? But there's no more people, especially in a conference that is known to be for maker and shakers. And so he said like, well, I think we have a problem of connecting with humans on the topic of climate change, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is always done in a negative way. We're gonna die, right? And also like I think
We are gonna die.
well, then let's go. No, exactly. We're gonna die anyway. But I'm saying like, you know, if we are really fucked completely, then let's
Yeah.
go party the entire time.
Yeah.
And two, maybe, you know, maybe it's not clear what I can do as a human. So
Right.
like, if you look at the general populations and you ask them what are the 3 things that you can do to kind of like have an impact on your life, they probably don't know. So it's hard to connect.
Yeah.
So that day I was like, maybe I can do something with my talent.
What's your talent?
Wow. I mean, like we all have many, but
Yeah.
I think the idea for me is I'm a storyteller. I
Right.
like to build journeys, environments. I'm an artist, but kind of like I did it always for the fashion industry.
Yes.
And so now I was like, wait, can I shift? Can I actually do it for something that makes me feel better? And so I came back home from the event. It was in 2017. And I told my entire team we're done with the
Right.
fashion industry. Now we're going to try to do something for the environment.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, you know.
Nice. And so what are the
Is this on or off?
yeah, it's on.
Okay, good.
So what are the activities that you've done with Arcadia? Like, can you share with them like some of the projects that Arcadia has you've rolled out through Arcadia
Yeah.
that they could probably research and look into?
Yes, sure, for sure.
You're like, what are you doing there? Like, what are you doing with Arcadia?
Right. So, like, the first exhibit was in New York. We opened it on August 2019, and it was on Broadway, in front of NYU.
Right.
And it was an immersive journey. We just closed it now in January because it was supposed to last 6 months, and it lasted 4 years.
Yeah.
So you know, it was like almost kind of like time to redo.
Right.
Then we did many installations in collaborations with, you know, the one hotel in Miami, the Saudi Arabia ITRA Museum,
Yeah.
or others.
So are you doing installations?
Yeah, those are big installation, like immersive, 10,000, 15,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That people can journey and they can kind of like learn by having fun, and kind of like also not only they have fun, which address the topic of not being positive, right? But also kind of like giving them solutions on how things can be reshaped in their life, right? So it's a behavioral change.
Right.
So that was it. Meaning, like we're still doing. We created a big installation in Las Vegas. We are now designing Toronto. But I also wanted to address another thing.
What?
Which is less about me,
Okay.
but more about, how do I put this? Do you know how many times people said, "Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I wish I could." It's almost kind of like we always stop in front of fear, in front of what we think are problem. So for me, Arcadia was really a leap of faith in the universe.
Yeah.
If you want, we can
Risk.
talk. It wasn't even a risk. It was a psychopathic move. I was like, a risk is like, I can control it, I can understand it. It was like, I'm all in. you know.
Yeah.
And we should talk a bit about the universe too, if you want.
Yeah.
But let me finish this. And so when I started Arcadia, I didn't have the resources, not even close. We're talking about millions of dollars
Right.
to do a thing, and never even had them. And but the intention and the power and the energy and what I believed was so genuine and so pure
Yeah.
that I started it anyway.
Yeah.
And by the time I was building and people was coming to me.
Yeah.
So it's not because you don't have the money or the resources that you should stop doing what you truly believe in it, because when you believe in it, that's when they come.
Right.
Remember the movie Build and They Will Come? I don't know if you know. There's a beautiful movie. It's called Build It and They Will Come.
No.
Yeah. It's about a father in a stadium. Whatever.
Hey, that's a movie we should tap into.
Yeah, we should.
All
It's
right.
kind of cute.
We'll
the
look
intention
into it.
the intention was like, let's start. And when you start, the resources come to you.
Right.
So for me, one of the biggest lessons and the biggest messages that I want to give out there is
What
like,
is it?
non-stop, out of fear that you don't have what it takes to take the project to completion. Just begin the project,
Yes.
be strong about it, and that project will bring you the energy and the resources that you needed to
Yeah.
complete it, you know?
Hey, I love that.
Yeah.
Isabel, did you hear that?
No.
Yo, Isabel, I have a couple of questions for you. You want to join? Isabel. So Isabel and Val actually work on these projects together,
Yes.
and I want to speak about VR and AR projects that you guys are currently working on, and I want to hear your perspectives on where VR and AR technology will bring us in the future. What are your predictions?
Well, don't I say lady first?
Yes.
No, you go ahead. It's your company.
Wow. Well, two different things, right? VR is an amazing tool, but it's still hard. It's very hard.
Why is it hard?
Because it's almost the beginning of Web 2, where, do you remember the first, I don't know if you remember, but
First computers.
or the first website of Amazon.com. It would take like 20 minutes just to load the page, the main page. So there was no real use to it.
Right.
And if Jeff Bezos would have stopped right there, you probably wouldn't have anything today. But no, it was about pursuing of happiness, pursuing of the belief. So I think the VR has the capacity to bring people together in a way that no other technology can, because you can be in Dubai, I can be in New York, and somebody in LA,
Right.
and we can literally find ourselves in the same environment that is going to allow us to share, connect, act, right?
Yes.
So we're building a metaverse. Actually, we have it already.
What's it called?
Arcadia Earth.
Nice.
Go figure, right? It's the digital version of the physical exhibit.
Nice.
And so we're building this environment, and we're now distributing the first step is to be a tool for education through the schools
Right.
in partnership with Verizon.
Hey.
And it's going to go in their 5G labs in North America.
Ooh.
But at the same time, we've also been using like a trade shows event. Like we just completed a TED in Vancouver, where they chose us as the partner of choice for the metaverse.
Hey.
And the idea is like, can we make this a place of virtual gathering, a better version of Zoom, right?
Yes.
Where you can just also buy, sell, support, donate, transact. And transaction doesn't have to be materialistic. It could be, adopt a coral or, plant a mangrove tree. So that's where the VR can grow. When it comes to AR, well, to be honest, AR will always be, in my opinion, bigger than VR. Because it allows for the perfect combination of both physical and digital, right? Augmented reality is allow you to see things into your real world by, pulling from the digital world. And
Yes.
so you can kind of then now build both. So for example, right here, we're in the middle of a forest, and I don't really probably know what that tree is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I could probably take my phone and look at the tree and receive tons of information about
In real time.
in real time of, you know, and
Of
the
what the
information
tree
will
is.
appear in form of hologram or overlaid, you know,
Yeah.
augmented.
Right.
yeah.
So it would provide more information in real time.
Yeah, it could also say, you know, where are we walking right now?
Right.
Right? Who's the, you know, who's the community or the Native of America or, you know, like the generation that care for this piece of land?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to hear that.
Yeah.
How do I participate in the protections and restorations of this land? I'd like to know that.
Right.
And so augmented reality could literally allow us to kind of like learn everything in real time.
Yes. Like what Isabelle's doing right now.
Yeah. Isabel right now is looking at the flower,
Yeah.
and Isabel, what are you doing right now?
Taking a photo so I can identify it later.
Perfect.
Hey.
So Isabel is taking a photo to identify it later. With AR, she could have seen it right off the bat.
So yeah, it makes sense. So so you're saying AR is going to be more widely adopted than VR is, but do you think there will be a transition between like there will be more people using a certain type of reality? So like, have you watched Ready Player One?
Yeah, of course.
Like, there's moments where, like, there are moments where there's, when they're not in the virtual space, there's not really much augmented reality. Well, do you think there will be moments where we'll be spending more time in VR than like actual reality? Like, where do you
No, humans are social creature, you know. We're not gonna be cast away at home unless it's another bigger, worse COVID version of it, right? Unless
Yeah.
there is a massive war, unless there is a catastrophic environment that prevents us from gathering. In that moment, in that case, VR will become essential. But the reality is, like, we are social. We like
Right.
to go to our life, and I think in its own way, the cell phone, it's the concept of what augmented reality could be, because like when you open your GPS and you're telling Siri, take me here, in that specific moment, Siri is showing you on the screen of the cell phone the road ahead of you,
Yeah.
and they are like one-to-one, you know. So theoretically, that's already enhancing the reality, because you're like driving a real street, but you're listening to an information that belong to that square yard at
Right.
that time. So the future is going to simply be that information may not appear on the side screen anymore, but maybe you have, you know, a little length, and you see it straight in front of you, and so it's just a tool. It's just
Yes.
a piece of information. So with that in mind, you can do anything else.
So you think this type of technology that we're developing right now as humans for species is gonna make us smarter,
No, it's not going to make you smarter. It's going to
or like
serve you
collectively?
better.
Like what do you think?
I don't think it's like anything. It depends on the use. So I wouldn't associate to a technology a purpose or a reason, right? We can have the same debate about AI if
Yes.
you want. Is AI going to make us smarter, or is it going to make us, you know, slaves? That's not, I think, the purpose of this specific moment right now. I think, in my opinion, it's just a service tool. It's like I couldn't imagine right now, you know, being able to, you know, organize my life without a Google Calendar. It doesn't mean that I was smarter before because I used pen and paper. it means it's just optimizing the resources and the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so do you think this will optimize our resources and time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to absolutely optimize resources and time because you can kind of like have everything on your fingertip, but also seeing it. You remember the word, you know, an image is worth 1,000 words or 1,000,000 words, whatever it is.
Right.
So if I see an image in front of me, then got it.
So what's a piece of advice for that you'd like to share with people in order for them to explore this new territory that's being built?
Well, not everybody necessarily, you know, may have the interest in getting so technological. I wanted to be technological, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
why did you get into this VR, AR stuff?
Because an AI now, right?
Yeah.
Or it actually, like, I should spend more time on that and just, you know, prioritizing. But because eventually those technology are here to stay, and if I can master them for a better cause, like becoming a tool for impact, then I think it's a way to kind of like, you know, impact better and create more solutions for the environment, right?
Yes.
So it's a purpose-driven choice. But if I am, who knows, like if I'm like, if I like to live my life in the forest like this and I don't have the intention of reaching out to a lot of people,
right?
Probably I go fishing.
But yeah, I guess each of us have our own
mission.
Yeah,
purpose.
Our little purpose here while we walk on Earth.
Yeah.
And hello, and yours is around using AR and VR to fight and to fight climate change and to share your story on our impact on the planet.
And to build story too, you know, it's fun to create.
All right, it is fun to create. So what are you creating with this universe that you speak of? What are your ideas? What are your goals with it?
Well, like I think it would be fun if there was a way that I can give to any organizations, whether for profit or non-profit, doesn't matter, right? In fact, there should be more for profit.
Yeah, what are your goals for that?
Why? It's kind of like psychologically it's really wrong to incentivize people that are for non-profit and let the people for profit keep on spoiling the environment. It should be the opposite. You should disincentivize the people that are just not doing the right thing, but let organizations that are for the good of the environment make more money. So the more money that you make, the more money you can support and contribute, you know? You have more resources to activate.
Right.
So anyway, my point is like, either they are for profit or non-profit, it would be fun to serve them with a tool that they can kind of use from anywhere they want, you know, like for example, let's say we are in Japan and we want to talk with somebody in Costa Rica. You just don't need to travel and therefore use you know, the carbon emissions and for the airplane, for the taxi, for the Uber, and for even renting the apartment.
Right.
You can kind of like pop up these masks and join them virtually immediately, share what you need to share, and then back to your normal life, right?
Yeah.
So there's something really fun about creating this tool, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So would you consider this tool a form of teleportation?
Yeah.
So like,
you know,
we're able to teleport?
We can go that way.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Teleportations without transportation.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're basically entering a new phase of being human with this technology.
And also my avatar looks amazing. It looks younger than me, so you can kind of cheat.
Hey, yeah, you guys need to try out their universe.
Yeah. You know?
So Isabelle, I'd like to share with them like what your role is in helping the universe that you guys are creating.
Well, my interest is in language
Hey.
and narratives, and I think we're at a really interesting point in history where we have to make a collective choice about the really the narrative of the future we're going to walk into, whether it's one of doom or one of hope.
Yeah.
And I think part of that collective shift happens by more and more narratives of hope coming together.
Yes.
And creating kind of a mycelial network of
Hey.
hope through words or art and
Right.
medium that allows us to share.
Mm-hmm.
Emotion specifically.
Hey.
So extended reality and working with the Arcadia team has been a really fascinating opportunity to think about how we utilize language and human connection and creating empathetic responses in these new realms of technology and experiential art.
Yes.
So that's kind of my thing.
Nice.
I try and help this one make a little more sense.
Hey.
Oh my God, I'm an immigrant. Without hair, I just make no sense to myself.
I love that. So let's speak about predictions that you both have for humanity. Like, what are you guys feeling will happen in the next couple of years that we're here?
I think we're entering a renaissance.
Nice.
What did you call it?
Techno sapiens.
Techno-sapien renaissance.
Yeah.
I think that technology is allowing us to use tools we've never experienced before.
Right.
And that we're actually we're very well off when it comes to resources and safety, especially in the US, that we have a lot of time to create. So we're creating more and more narratives and visuals and trying to imagine a way forward. But we also need mission-based experiences like Arcadia to help us not just get lost in the sauce, as you say.
Yes.
But I'm excited about the Renaissance. I think it's going to be fun.
Nice. And how about you, Val? What are your thoughts on
My thoughts are going to be
next couple of years?
My thoughts are a bit controversial, so I'm going to answer it like this, okay? Ready?
Right.
I think that we all live in a video game. All right? So for which my video game is different than Isabelle or yours.
Okay.
And so I can only talk for myself at this point, right? So I think that the intention of these next years, it literally depends on the choices that I make for my video game.
Yes.
Right? But you may have a completely different outcome because it's based on what you live and believe in it, right?
Yes.
So I don't know how to explain this, but theoretically,
Yeah, so what are you believing in that will happen in the next couple of years?
I think we're seeing a bit of there's going to be a major over adrenalinic response to those topics, mostly out of fear.
Right.
And it's almost kind of like when you wake up in the morning after you've been partying the night before and you realize that you're late on your meeting, you freak out and you're like rushing to get there on time. This is where we are. We're about to become aware of the fact that we're very late, but I believe there's going to be a big rush. And eventually you make it on time, right? And if you don't make it on time for whatever reason, well, then it's going to be a bit of a deal with it. But, you know, deal with it intended as more work to be done after, right? But it's not the end of the thing.
Yeah. I now want to speak about climate. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions on how the climate will begin to start? What are the new changes that climate change will bring to Earth and Earth's ecosystems?
I mean, how dark do you want me to go?
Let's, I mean, just express how you feel. Like, where do you think, what do you think will happen to the water? What do you think, what's gonna, I have these conversations to see perspectives on, like, you know, like every day, no matter where we are, we're like surviving. And I know you feel deeply about your dad of two young girls.
Yeah.
And you know, you understand. You're for sure feeling what's gonna happen here on Earth. What do you think will happen to the how's the climate gonna begin fluctuating?
Yeah. Okay, so let's make it simple before we go down these things. So I think there are only 3 things that we need to. No, it's impossible to simplify, but I'm gonna try to.
Okay, please.
Temperature are gonna rise.
All right.
Period.
Temperature's gonna rise.
And they're gonna rise far too much.
Okay.
Fact.
Like so super hot. Gonna get super hot.
Well, no. Temperature rising,
In
it's
different
climate
places?
change.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean only hot, right?
Right.
So for example, you're gonna see big massive shift in the ecosystem that regulate the climate right now. So the oceans are regulating the climate. There are currents. The iceberg are melting.
Right.
The cold water from the iceberg is pushing down those currents. These currents may break. If the current of the South America, who brings hot waters up to the East Coast, break,
Yeah, what happens?
then you're gonna actually have massive, freezing, cold temperature during the winter. With you go minus temperature that become very dangerous.
Right.
And in the summer, extremely hot.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just hot. It's change. It's extreme weather.
Right. Extremer weather.
Extremer weather is going to bring us, storms that are far more, relevant than the one that we have today, and we probably are not prepared for that. So the point is, like, the weather will change.
Yes.
When the weather changes, the food ecosystem will shift.
Right.
And that's where we need to pay more attention, right? Like,
Right.
we are very spoiled right now. Like if you're like not wealthy, but if you are in environments of
Cities.
that you can have food,
Right.
the supply chains will break. The food supply chain will break, and that's
Right.
going to create some real unconfidence. And so food is one thing. We got to pay attention to the food supply chain.
What's another thing?
And the second thing is water.
Right.
So, despite the fact that planet Earth is 72% covered by water, only 3% of the entire water is drinkable, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is stuck underground.
Yeah.
A lot of it is used for farming, and very little is left for humans. And with this drastic change in ecosystem, there may be a risk of water supply.
Right.
So if I was to predict, I'll say in 10 years or 20 years, water will be so valuable. We should probably buy a waterfall right now, or like a lake upstate. I mean it, like a
for
fresh
sure.
water will become the thing, like in Dune, the movie. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
So when you start touching temperature, food, and water, I mean, you start touching everybody. And
Right.
so we really need to figure out a way to prevent, and then again, like, okay, so let's start looking at cool things. There are a lot of desalination plants. A lot of the water in Saudi Arabia is generated through desalination plants, right? So there are solutions, there are technology. It's just a matter of making sure that those technology are reachable and affordable for a lot of people. Whew. You
Thank you.
asked the question, man.
Wow.
I was like answering like in a kind, polite way.
Yeah. No, that was dope. Thank you. Thanks, Val.
You're welcome. Speaking of water.
Yeah, speaking of water. So, what's a piece of advice you want to leave for the future generations of human beings?
I would like to see more
What would you like to
demand
see more?
from our community on organizations, changes that are needed.
Right.
Like for example, do you remember many years ago in Williamsburg, this movement of hipsters
Right.
started an organic movement.
Yeah.
And within 10 years, unless the product became organic,
Yeah.
wasn't commercial.
Mm.
So there is always a push that we can actually create, and I think that when it comes to climate change, the push always feel limited to this moment in time, like Earth Day, Climate Week, Ocean Day, and not necessarily becoming a routine for every day life, you know?
Yes.
So maybe we can do that. Maybe we can just
So create more of those.
yeah, strengthen relations with friends that care about that, so that the collective grow.
Right. Nice. Well, thanks, Val. That was such a great conversation.
You're welcome.
And
man.
can I give you a hug?
Yeah, we also got lost in the woods. Where are we?
Yeah, I don't know where
don't
we
know,
are.
man.
I don't know where Isabelle is.
I have
Thanks
no
for
clue.
that was
Yeah.
amazing. I wanna thank Isabelle.
Well, I don't know. Isabelle. Well,
But all right.
that's it.
I hope
She's
you
gone.
guys enjoyed this conversation with Valentino and Isabelle, and I hope you guys do a little research on the really beautiful things that Val's up to, because his spirit is pursuing some really wild and innovative projects here.
We're gonna start posting now on Arcadia Earth,
Hey,
And
check
we're
out
gonna-
Arcadia Earth.
which is all exhibit right now. I'm gonna start presenting now next month. We're gonna shift it all to digital
Hey,
and the metaverse.
nice. So yeah, you guys can check that out in the link in the description. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. Peace and love.